Hey, Susan, long time no see.
Hello.
Siri must have thought I was talking to her. My phone just answered. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for joining. Who else is here? Really, things have been so stressful lately. Facebook has just been full of such unsettling news, and things are sort of going crazy. And I think I shared on my design page that we went to Costco, did our monthly Costco run the other day, and we got there at 9. Hola! Got there when it opens, which is what our practice is, in the middle of the day. Hi, Marie Christine. There was the rest of the world was there too, which was really unusual for the middle of the week. And they had people standing at the door telling us there was no toilet paper. And if we needed any and they got some in, then we could only take 1 or 2 packs per person. And it was as if it was like a Black Friday sale at Costco. The entire world was there. We got in and out of there. We didn't go there for toilet paper, but we got in and out of there as fast as we possibly could. And for me, all this stuff has sort of been building up a little bit. Yesterday I thought, maybe I can just say hi to our friends and maybe we can all just have a little community hello. So, oh, Mary, I saw that. Mary's son isn't going to get to do his college graduation. I saw that maybe they'll just push it back. Maybe they'll still have the big ceremony. I know how frustrating that must be for everybody. As all these places are closing around us, my son and daughter-in-law work for the state of California in Sacramento, and they're talking about closing some of the campuses there, which means that the daycare centers that are associated with the campus will be closed. And, it seems so much more real when all these things are closing down, because it's actually impacting you. I mean, guys must be going crazy with no sports to watch. I don't care. I'm okay with that, but they must be going nuts. And it makes it seem much more real. And I think that's why I felt the need to sort of connect with people, is just say hi and ask everybody how they're doing, and if they were interested in talking about art journaling or digital scrapbooking, or if they just wanted to chat and say hi. So if anybody, I don't know if you have any questions about what we're doing, tell me how you're feeling. What's happening in your neighborhood? Are things closing down for you too? Are you keeping yourself isolated from everybody? I know some of you pretty well now from our conversations, and I know some of you are sort of in high-risk categories because of health problems. So I'm sure you're taking the necessary steps to keep yourself safe and warm. Let's see where comments are here. Yeah, Mary, have they said they're going to reschedule the graduation? Yeah, I think my kids are going to be working from home for the next couple of weeks as the state decides that that's what they're going to do, let people telecommute, which is okay. I'll still go over to see my granddaughter because, I can't not see my granddaughter just because, I thought I would share with you just a couple of things while we're waiting for more people to come in, or if you've got any questions for me. But yesterday I really hit the wall. Yesterday was, I don't know why, it was sort of the tipping point for me, and I just actually closed down out of social media, and then just went into Photoshop and started looking through some of my digital scrapbooking kits and things like that, to pull together some bits and pieces. I didn't really have anything in mind when I started, but I really felt like I needed a way to separate myself from what was going on. So you probably saw this on one of my Facebook posts here. The little text on here says, sometimes all you can do is just close your eyes and breathe. And that's true. I mean, there are other things you can do too, but it reminded me, I get so wrapped up in my business world, running my design business, that I forget to stop and do art for me and all the benefits that art and creating anything, even if you're not into, art journaling or digital scrapbooking, anytime that you're working with your hands or doing something creative, it sort of sets some of that tension loose that you might be feeling. And that's actually what happened to me. These silhouette kinds of things were kind of cool, but I actually had a lot more fun just making, I don't know, see if I can get this close to the camera so you can see, but I ended up with like a gazillion layers for that background. And, I'm always, since I do mixed media art and mixed media art journaling, I'm always trying to get my pieces to resemble more like physical art, my digital pieces to look more like physical art. So that was kind of what I did. And the funny thing was, when I was done, I felt a lot more calm. And so I'm thinking maybe we all need to be spending a little bit more time off of social media right now and doing things that, feed the rest of your body. I'm not a very, chakra kind of gal, but I do see that there's some really big benefit in separating yourself so that you don't get too freaked out. You don't let other people sort of feed into that anxiety that you're feeling. So I started thinking about, what are some of the other things that we can do to sort of separate ourselves from all of this. And I actually made myself a little list. One of the things we're going to do is resume our morning walks and go outside and just walk. We have great walking paths around here. So we're going to be doing more of that. I'm going to start. Hi there. Oh, I'm getting these little hearts. I didn't even know I'd get little hearts. Hi, Vicki. Vicki has joined us, or at least she was here, and she is actually the shop owner at Scrap. So I'm really thrilled that you're here. That's really cool. Say hi, everybody. Let me know you're here. And let me know what you're doing right now. Go ahead and give me a comment here. I can see them as we're talking here. So anyway, I was thinking about we can be walking. We can be calling people that we never talk with, that we don't talk with regularly. I now FaceTime once a week with my 86-year-old dad who's in Texas. I just think, we didn't have that capability when I was a kid, and now he's in Texas, and so now it's even more of a reason to connect with your family. Do something creative, read a good book. One of my missions is going to be to get on Netflix and see if I can find all the past Academy Award-winning movies and see if I can't go through and watch some of those. Oh, it's so nice to see so many of you here. Thank you. So I also, one of the things that I've been doing, trying to commit to more regularly this year, was I started challenges, art journaling and digital scrapbooking challenges on my website. And what that's done is forced me to spend some more time doing some art journaling as well. And I want to show you some of the things that I've done here. One of the things that people ask me about is, how come all these challenges that I am doing, that we're working so small, as opposed to the traditional 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that we normally would scrapbook on, or in an art journal you'd be working on a much bigger page. And that's because what I realized is many of us don't have a lot of time in our lives. If you ask people why they don't create more, they tell you they don't really have a lot of time. And so if you do work small, then you're going to have a lot less to accomplish. This was the January challenge here. You have a lot less to accomplish. You can do something in small, manageable chunks. And the other thing is that people suffer from, fear of that blank white space. Even if it's a Photoshop document, you're staring this blank document in the face, and it can be really intimidating. So I thought the smaller the workspace that we had to use, maybe it would go a little faster. And I actually printed these out. I have a color laser printer, and I'm actually going to put these into one of my physical art journals. Anybody here actually doing any of these, any of the challenges that I'm posting? Did I lose you all? Are you still there? Am I talking to myself? I already talked to myself without reason. Hello. Well, I'm just keep chattering away and hope that you're all there hearing me. And I thought I would show you, if you don't have any questions, I thought I would show you some of the art that I've created over time on art journaling pages. Art journaling is kind of one of those things that freaks people out when you talk about it, because they think that means that you are, have to write down all your deepest, darkest secrets and feelings and stuff like that. And really, it's not that at all. It can be that if you want it to be, but it really doesn't have to be anything like that. So I have been using that up until, things got crazy. I was using that sort of just as an outlet, just to play. And there's even been taking a lot of online art classes. Sometimes you'll see some of the things that I work on in my journals end up in my digital scrapbooking kits, which is kind of fun because it makes them personal and it makes the art unique to me. I tell you, I'm such a crappy face This is from a class that I took by Toni Burt. She's an Australian artist, and she does wonderful work, and she was showing us how we can make these sort of less defined figures, and I really love that because I don't end up with that penis nose that I always end up with. You hear me joking about my penis nose. I'll show you an example of a penis nose. Do not tell anybody I did this. I will deny it, but here's penis nose. Shh. See what I mean? Go ahead and laugh. That's okay. Go ahead and laugh. So I decided that maybe these less specific, less structured faces were more for me. And those things, as I say, eventually end up in my kits. Here is let's see this in here. You might have seen this coming through. This is Put a Little Love in It, ended up actually being one of my kits. And I think the best part about this stuff for me is that it just lets me sit and do layers and layers and layers of paint. I mean, there's probably between stencils and stamps and acrylic paint and sprays and gesso and stuff like that. This is, you can see it's kind of thick. That's probably an hour and a half's worth of work. But I just want to encourage you when things get really, tough like they are now, when your head is kind of going nuts. Maybe something creative might help relieve some of that pressure for you. Here's a card I did. This is that's something called, I guess it's called an onion flower. Somebody actually know a real name for that? Let me know. I'm not seeing any comments here. Hold on, let me just see. Am I missing all this stuff? Oh my gosh, yes. Oh wait, I'm gonna stop talking. Hi Judy. Vicki. Anita, hi there. You're in Texas. Where in Texas? My 86-year-old dad is in San Antonio. He was a lifer in the Air Force and then spent 20 years working for USAA. So they live right outside of Randolph Air Force Base in San Antonio. Matter of fact, we were stationed there twice. Judy loves making 5x7 cards. Vicki, I didn't expect you to do my challenges, my friend. Oh, you love my wonky women. Thank you. That was another little class I took. Wonky women, if you haven't seen them, I don't think I have one here. There's drawing these little faces without lifting your pen, and you had to do it like super, super quick, like in 20 seconds. You can check my Instagram feed. I'm sure that you'll find those there. That was really fun. Thank you. I had a great time on those. Evelyn, yes, I'm so glad you made it. Evelyn's so sweet. Anita's in Austin. Also Air Force, are you? Like I said, I was an Air Force brat. I was born in Washington, D.C. and at Bolling Air Force Base, and then we ended up going to New York, where my dad was stationed on an Army fort for a while, then to San Antonio, where we lived in the early 60s. That sent us to Germany. We lived in Stuttgart for 7.5 years. I went to junior high school and all of high school, graduated from an American high school over there. And then when we came back, my parents fell in love with the San Antonio area, and that's how they ended back up there. And I said, Texas is really nice, but I think I'm more of a California girl. So that's how I ended up here. Who else is here? Gosh, I'm sorry I didn't see these comments before. Yeah, San Antonio is beautiful. It's flat. I've lived in California for like 45 years now, so you get used to rolling hills and things like that. And so that area of Texas is really flat. But it's really, really beautiful. San Antonio's just got some really gorgeous things to do, and it's gotten really busy. We went back home a couple of years ago for my dad's 85th birthday, and I was shocked at how much that whole area has grown. You guys have any questions you want to ask about art journaling or digital scrapbooking, or you have anything else you want to pass along as I show you? This is sort of one of my wonky women there, kind of, not exactly. This is a failed attempt. Don't laugh. Now, if you laugh, I will cry. I'm very, very, very sensitive. No, I'm not, but. Evelyn said, oh, in the Air Force and in the Army and a daughter in the fire department. I can't tell you. I'm so grateful for those people to do that work. Vicki, my Army son and those twins are stationed in Bolling Air Force Base right now. How cool is that? Here's another little, like I said, these were onion flowers, and you know why I picked them? Because they're easy to do. It's just ovals in these lines. And I figured, even I can't mess up that. You know, I have no trained background in art at all. Everything I do, I'm sort of muddling through, and I would never call myself an artist. If you had told me when I was younger that I would end up having anything to do with art for a living, you would have just knocked me over with a feather, because I didn't think of myself as creative. Oh yeah, here's some of these wonky women here. This is just using a water-soluble pencil, so when you sketch and then dip a brush in water, the pencil dissolves, and you can sort of do that shading with that. I guess what I've learned is that everybody has some creativity. I am 65 years old, and if I could learn at 55 that I had a creative side, so can you. So I just want to encourage you all not to ever get hung up on that. My studio, an artist. Yeah, thank you, Vicki. I guess I should say that. I don't think of it as an artist. I'm a hobbyist who just really likes it. Thank you for mentioning my studio here, Evelyn. This is probably the most expensive thing I've ever purchased for myself. It's like an armoire, and the sides actually collapse in. So the two wings that are open collapse in this way, and then both of those collapse in, and then the doors shut. And so theoretically it was supposed to be, I said, the way I convinced my husband was to say that it was going to be it was just a beautiful piece of furniture, that people wouldn't even know was part of my craft center until I realized it's really dumb to try to close it up. So we moved it from this wall here where I'm sitting on now to this wall behind me so that you can't see it when you come in, because he doesn't like to see all that clutter. But yeah, that was an expense. I promised myself that once all that was full, I wouldn't buy any more art supplies. And then I learned that I'm a liar on top of everything else, because I keep buying the art supplies. Oh, thank you. Oh, nice words. Thank you. So jealous. Yeah, this is not an inexpensive piece of furniture. And the funny story about it is that when I ordered it, they said there was something like a 6 to 8 week lag time, because they make this furniture. It's made, I think it's made like in the Carolinas, where a lot of furniture is made. And so they don't pre-make them. They make them when you order them. And so it said 6 to 8 delivery time. So I ordered that and asked for it to be delivered to my new house. We were in the process of moving from way out in the country. You always hear me say, to here, closer to Sacramento, so we could be closer to the grandbaby when she was born. So they said 6 to 8 weeks, and that would have given us plenty of time to be settled in the new house. And then I got a delivery notice 2 weeks later that it was on its way, and it would be here in 5 days. So as we were in the middle of packing up, our old big house to downsize to move here, this truck showed up one day, and they actually, I'm just naive, I suppose. I did not think, I knew we had to put it together ourselves, but I did not think that it would be, it weighed 600 pounds. And to get it off the truck, they used one of those hydraulic electric lifts, and then pulled it into we had to make room in the driveway for it. I thought my husband was going to just kill me. I thought I was really doomed, really, really doomed. So, the rush was I had to call and say, don't deliver it to the new house, because we won't even take ownership of that for another 6 weeks. And my God, now I'm going to have to move 600 pounds of art cabinet. And, let's just say that the reception at home was just a touch frosty for a little while. And that wasn't the worst of it, because it turns out that these things are not easy. Who's Mary? Somebody saying Mary wants one? Well, no, it does close, because we just replaced the flooring in here, and it's on wheels and it rolls okay if it's not on carpet. But the problem is putting it together, and you need to have the patience of Job to put those things together. It took us 2 full days, and I mean 2 8-hour days, with 5 calls to the customer support for the company that sold this, because they didn't do such a great job of labeling all the parts, and some were mislabeled. And there's a lot of, on the demonstration on their website, they show a young kid, a guy, 28-year-old and a 30-year-old, 30-year-old, two young kids putting it together in like 15 minutes. And it's like, oh boy, that was a little misleading, because that didn't work. And it almost caused permanent disruption in my household, because one of us can't hold a hammer or doesn't get the idea of how those screws go in. And so one of us did a lot more of the manual labor than the other. And one of us was learning curse words that we didn't even know existed before. Anyway, that's my really funny, I know. Anyway, so that's my story of my cabinet, and I love it. It keeps me organized. And then I found out I wasn't as organized as I thought, because I have been known to uncover, exact same art supplies still in their original packages that I loved so much the first time that I went and bought them a second time, but never had opened either one. So, let me show you a couple more things here. Be sure to ask any questions you got here, because those websites do. They were pushing it. There was a woman pushing it with one finger, and there's these, you can't see it here, but those shelves in the back, there's those little clear clips that have to go into each of the holes on each side, and then you have to slide the shelf in on top of it and pound it down into place so it doesn't move. And that's not so bad before the entire thing is built, but the more shelves you get in, the harder it is to navigate. And I have cuts and right, I have cuts and I had cuts and scrapes. We both did. And then there's that, you see the really narrow little openings. Well, that's about 2.5 inches. You just try to get your hand in there to get those little things in. Anyway, so it's like doing a Pinterest, project. They make it look so easy. You think, oh, no problem, and then you go and try it, and you find things are different. Here's what I did. This is on a canvas board maybe, and it's a mess. And that's how the sigh ended up. It's hard to do this backwards, sigh, because I thought I was going to do something really beautiful and meaningful, and I don't know what else. And then I looked at it and said, "Oh, damn, it was really crappy." Ellen says, a friend who's always been talented picked up pencil years ago. Yeah. See, that's just it. People always say to me, oh, you've got talent. Actually, I don't know that it's so much talent. It's just I'm at the age in my life where I don't really care what other people think anymore, and I'm doing this just for me. So it was a surprise to see that I really liked doing this. I mean, I spent 30 plus years as a senior management person in high-tech industry, doing lots of project task-oriented work, and it didn't even occur to me. I mean, I couldn't even draw a stick figure. We didn't do crafts when I was young, so I didn't even know that anything like that was possible. And was like, oh, wow, look at this. Now, I'm not sure what kind of flower that is, but see? And you see it's unfinished. So I don't know what's going to go there. And I took a class I was taking here, but look how silly this is. So what I generally don't do my art journal pages in a journal itself, because it's hard to get them to lay flat. So I end up doing them on individual pieces of paper, and then ended up, sort of binding them somehow in a book. And what I wanted to show you here is take a look at all this texture. So when you look at my products in my shop, maybe you sort of get the idea when you're wondering those brushes and things that I sell and those background papers. Well, they're taken from this inspiration. So I just keep trying to take my own artwork and then turn it into something that people can try to do digital mixed media with. So how long have I been oh my God, I've been chattering here for almost half an hour. You guys tired of hearing me talk? Oh, this is so cool. Do you guys like doing this? Do you want to try to do some of these more often? Does she remind you of, there's somebody she reminds me of. I don't know, but she looks like somebody. Reminds me of some French singer or something, doesn't she? Kind of strange. And check out the nose. This is why I'm going to Nothing So Defined, so I don't have to try to do those noses anymore. Thank you, Vicki. Thanks for coming. Here's some more of the onion flower. See, so pick out something that is hard, that is easy to do, and just keep doing it over and over again. Thank you for all the hearts. Art journaling. Do I get a satisfaction from putting down cuss words and then covering them up? Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. Actually, yes, and actually it's a trick. it's a trick. If you do have things you want to say, whether you're doing this digitally or in physical art, that's actually an exercise that you can do, and even share with kids or grandchildren when they're old enough to do it, is you just start on your blank page. I usually would gesso, it's a physical page, I would gesso it first so that I can add paint later on, but you just write down. I just scribble sometimes. I mean, a couple of years ago, our family experienced a number of close relatives and very close friends passing away unexpectedly, and it was a very short period of time. And we were just gobsmacked. I mean, how do you process all that? And I'm not a diary keeper. I don't actually write a diary. But one day I did. I just sat down and just in very loose, I wasn't trying to write something legible. I just started scribbling my feelings and thoughts, and I was angry, and I know sometimes I pounded my pencil on the paper, and I know I said nasty things, and I know I was pissed off at the world and upset and all that stuff, and I sort of just came out. I just kept scribbling. So what I ended up with was this kind of black pencil stuff, on my page. It was illegible, but I felt better about it. And then I painted over her. And the funny thing is, I can go back to that page and I can find it in my art journal books. I can find that page and know what those feelings were, even though the rest of the world could never see it. There's something very freeing about that. And if you're a digital art journal, you can do exactly the same thing. Pick out a small round brush, one of the standard brushes that come with Photoshop or Photoshop Elements, and just add a new text, just add a layer. You don't even need a text layer because you're using a brush, and choose your color and just start to scribble on your screen as if you were actually writing. Don't worry that it's legible. It's amazing how that releases a lot of things for you. Mary says her daughter did go to art school, opened her eyes to see art and even more art. It's amazing. Oh, thank you. It is amazing, because the thing that drew me to mixed media and art journaling is there aren't any rules, and there's always rules about what looks pleasing to the eye and what products are going to mix well together. I don't mean that kind of design, that kind of rule, but there aren't rules about what is the right and wrong way to do something. And so what that means is I was a rules-driven person. I was a task-driven person. I managed a bunch of people, and we always had a project. We always had a task. We always did things by the book. Everything had a project dependency. Can't get this done until you do this. And when I realized that this kind of art didn't require that I'm not a fine artist. I'm not trying to sell my work. I'm not trying to get it hung in a museum. I'm doing something to create. So when you choose some kind of art that isn't limiting like that, you don't have to worry that you're doing something wrong, except for my penis noses, because I see David is here. Hi, David Penman. David Penman's, I'm going to know David from way, 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 way back, childhood. It meant you couldn't do anything wrong. And for me, I gravitate on my physical art side. I gravitate to abstract work, because again, I'm going to tell you that that's a flower, and you don't have to believe me, but to me that's a flower. And so there's some great satisfaction in being able to do that as well. Wonky women, add this one to my wonky woman. Is that what you were saying, Judy? Her? Yeah, she looks pained. I don't know. She looks to me like she has a lot of drama in her life, don't you think? Oh, thank you for your nice comments. Thank you. That's making me feel good. So I didn't mean for this to go on much more, and I don't want to bore you in showing you a lot more of my artwork or anything like that. So tell me, I'll give you one last chance. Any other questions that you have for me? Do you want to try to do this again? I can do it relatively often or not, and I can try to change the times so that it's not always. I know I have a lot of folks that follow me that are in Australia and Europe, and that time difference is substantial. So I could try to do that if you're interested. Well, thank you. Okay. Well, I'll think about adding her. But I'm going to give you guys, if you want me to add her, you need to come up with a name for her. So in the comments on this live video or somewhere else on my page or in my art journaling group, tell me a name for her. I'll post her picture and you guys can come up with a name because she needs a name. You know, I keep thinking, what was that? Edith Piaf, or who's that woman that was Edie? I can't remember. I don't know. Anyway, okay. All right. Maybe I'll start blabbing here. Let's see. What have you got to say? I'm not boring. Thank you. Exotic. Oh, not boring. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Marie. So, Marie Christine, you're in the UK. What time is it there for you now? It's got to be evening time. Late evening, right? Carmen. Agatha. I like that as a name. Marie Christine, you must be, can't imagine that. You must be around 10 o'clock or something your time in the evening? Well, if you do want me to do this again, just leave a comment here because I don't want to keep talking at you guys now. I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much for showing up. I really like connecting with people, and I hope maybe, you know, I gave you 30 minutes away from 30 minutes away. She looks like a Stella. You mean that Rebecca says she looks like a Stella? Are you meaning like Stanley Kowalski? Stella! Stella! Giving away my age here. Stella! It's just about 8 p.m. So Marie Christine, is that too? That's probably as late as you would want to go. Maybe 8 or 9 o'clock, maybe your time, depending. And I know for my Australian friends, it's early, super early in the morning there. I tried to schedule it so I could get some of them because I have a lot of fellow designers and customers and followers in Australia, but this is like 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning for them, and even I wouldn't get up that early for me. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Like I said, if you do want me to do this again, leave me a comment below and like this video. And thank you for being such great sports and let me blabber on for all this time about stuff you may not even really care about. But I had a great time, and I hope you did too. And we'll do this soon again. Bye, everybody. This will be posted, by the way. It should automatically post as soon as it renders, so take a look for it in a little while. Thanks.